Hey everyone, John Ponick with the Mojave Valley Daily News. We're here for our March Madness recap. Over here you see I have the infamous and glorious Dave Heath.
Glorious, huh?
Hello, John.
We have Matt Hanrahan from Barron.
No glorious, no something.
We have
something
the
just nothing. Okay, I'll take
the
it.
weathered Matt Hanrahan.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
And down at the end down here we have Damon Martin. Damon is from Tri-State Turf.
Yes, sir.
He is still alive in the bracket. Pulling a number 1 seed helps quite a bit, but he's got Kansas down there, so I know he's happy. So before we get into the results and who's left and all that stuff, I just want to, we talked a little bit last week. The way we opened it last week was seeing what your takeaway was from round 1 and 2. Now, what are your takeaways from round 3 and 4? Dave Heath.
Last week I was pretty hard on the Big Ten, and rightfully so. But this week I've got to take it for basically all of West Coast basketball. It stinks. There's no good basketball on the West Coast. They cannot get it done. Last year they were in the championship game, couldn't get it done. Had UCLA in the Final Four, couldn't get it done. This year none of them got to the Final Four. No U of A, no UCLA, and no Gonzaga. So it was a rough watch.
Yeah, that was a shock. The Gonzaga thing for sure was a shock.
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, for sure. It's tough to see the Arizona schools or the West Coast schools go out, but I think takeaway for me is seeing the coaches that are left in this thing with, Bill Self and Jay Wright and even Hubert Davis, who's new, but he still does his thing, and obviously Coach K. To me, that was the big takeaway. You've got, I think, over 40 Final Four appearances between the 4 coaches.
Yeah, that's insane.
Almost 50, I think. So that's the big takeaway. You got blue bloods left, and I like that. So. We'll see.
Yeah, and how much do you think that plays into it? I mean, you get kids that we talked last week about how Duke has experience or North Carolina has experience. All these other teams have experience. And you counter that with, yeah, but they're one and done or don't even go to high school or to college.
Yeah.
A lot of that. So that turns over all the time, but the coaches don't.
No, and I think they've got something good there going. And we were talking all season, and I mean me and the people I talk to on the internet and stuff like that, Twitter, about how
Voices in my head.
Yeah, the voices in my head. It's such a wide open basketball season. There were 9 different teams that were ranked number 1 at various points in time, and you go into the tournament thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these wacky teams made it and won. And then you have the St. Pete story, which was great. But who do you have at the end? North Carolina, Villanova, Duke, Kansas. I mean, blood doesn't get any bluer than that.
Yeah, for sure. Damon, I know that you're not a huge basketball fan, but
It's not my forte, but first I want to thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be here. But yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. I enjoy sports, and I enjoy watching the basketball games and seeing these teams still at full strength. I think what's happening with the whole COVID thing and all that, these teams are still strong and they're still deep. So I enjoy watching the competition at that level. And yeah, everybody wanted to see the Cinderella story, but it is what it is. But I just enjoy the games and seeing what's going on.
yeah.
Go Jayhawks.
Would you say that even if you didn't have Kansas
Yeah,
left?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
Here's the thing. It all comes down to a good game and just watching it, and I enjoy watching the competition at that high level.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun to watch college. And I know you guys are college fans and pro fans as well, but college basketball, much like college football, it just seems like the atmosphere and the intensity and the energy and everything is so much higher than as soon as they get paid, it's like, all right, well, tempered down a little bit. They talk about things are so much faster on the pro level, but just watching the game, it just seems so much more energetic on the college level.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing about having teams at full strength is a great point because, I mean, they want to give it everything they can. I mean, Kirk Kriisa was hurt, but he went out there and he played for a couple of games for U of A. It probably hurt him because he wasn't at full strength, but he kept doing it. And then now that I can't remember the kid's name, but the kid from Villanova,
Moore,
blows out his
Justin Moore.
Achilles in that last game. I mean, that's
tough.
sad, but boy, his team's in the Final Four. I'm sure they're going to miss him now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's talk about who's left. We have, so Gonzaga beat Memphis, then lost to Arkansas. We have Notre Dame, Texas Tech fell to Duke. So Duke beat Michigan State, then beat Texas Tech. Yeah, that was your guy, wasn't it? Texas Tech? Didn't you have
I don't
Texas?
recall. I remember. I feel like I had maybe some. I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't really paying
All right,
attention.
well, that
I was
makes
really
sense.
paying attention to Kansas
Yeah, you're
because I
rooting Kansas
wanted
on.
Damon to join us today.
right.
So it
That's
worked out.
right.
Worked out
Well,
You
perfect.
did well. You should have probably rooted harder for your teams.
probably
But
should.
Right.
Well,
all right, then we have North Carolina took out Baylor, the #1 seed. UCLA took out St. Mary's. North Carolina took out UCLA. Then we have Purdue beat Texas. St. Peter's beat Murray State. Then Purdue beat St. Peter's, which we will not forgive them for. And then North Carolina beat Purdue. So on that side of the bracket, we have
no.
We missed that one.
Yeah,
Huh?
we're short one.
St. Pete's beat Purdue.
St. Pete's beat Purdue.
And
yeah.
then lost to North Carolina.
then
Oh,
lost to
yeah.
North Carolina.
What did I say? Purdue beat St. Pete's? No. St. Pete's beat Purdue, was the only team, the only 15 seed to ever make
Never
it till Elite Eight.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
was fun to watch too.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
That was a
but
good
then
game.
in that game against North Carolina, that was supposed to happen the first 3 games.
first round, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so on that side of the thing, we have Duke against North Carolina, which to me seems totally scripted, and I am calling this fixed.
Not
Would it have
fixed
been
at all.
more fixed if they had met in the championship game?
That would have been more fixed, but that would have been too obvious. That would have been too
You know,
obvious.
the thing about the Duke North Carolina game is, and I think a lot of people probably have heard this, but they've never played each other in the tournament.
Yeah,
ever.
that's crazy.
And it's crazy to think that I think North Carolina has been there 21 times in the Final Four. Duke's been there 17 times in the Final Four, and they've never
Been there
crossed paths
facing
in
each
the
other.
NCAA tournament. That's crazy to
Yeah.
see. But it would have been a better national championship game.
So it's a coincidence that this year, the year that Coach K announced his retirement, they made this big march, and this year is the year that they end up playing each other in the Final Four. It's a coincidence.
No, it's all
100%.
rigged.
It's rigged, right?
all- yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
for sure, yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving
Yeah,
That's
on.
what it
That
comes
ma-
down to. We all agree to that.
We all know that,
It
right?
makes you feel
How's
better.
Carolina at 8?
Yeah.
All right. So Duke, Culligan has Duke, and Tri-State Tool has North Carolina. All right. On the other side, we have Houston beat Arizona. Villanova beat Michigan. Villanova beat Houston, and now they're in the Final Four. And then we had Kansas over Providence, Kansas over Creighton, Providence over Richmond, Kansas over, I went back too many rounds. Kansas over Providence, Miami over Iowa State, Kansas over Miami. Now Kansas will be facing off against Villanova. All right, Damon, it's on you. How is Kansas
Go
going to beat
Kansas.
Villanova? You got a 1 and a
Just keep saying
2.
Go
Go
Kansas.
back, go back to my expertise here. You know, here's the thing. Again, I'm not a statistician. I'm not an expert by any means in this field, in this game. But again, they're at full strength. I think that they're going to put their best foot forward and give it everything they got, which is a great thing these days, considering what everybody's been through. I think the level of talent is there. I think we're going to see a good game either way. Obviously, I want them to win, but I just think it's, I want to see a good game, and I'm hoping that we do that. All right.
Can't imagine we don't, right? I can't imagine either one of these games are
Right.
not entertaining. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we're right.
But that injury to Justin Moore, and that's really big. And then on the other end, having Remy Martin be healthy, which he hasn't been all year, and it's going to be an interesting matchup. And the funny thing to this game for me is not just Moore getting hurt, but Colin Gillespie, who's the point guard for Villanova, is a 5-year player, and he's Big East Player of the Year twice. And I don't know if they have an answer for him. They don't really have any large guards. He's a bigger guard, so that to me might be a difference maker. Might be a reason why Kansas doesn't pull this out. But I got to be thinking Kansas is the team with this one. I know they're playing well enough, and Remy Martin's hot, and their bigs are playing well. I don't know.
If Villanova, again, like I said last time, if Villanova can keep it close, they're going to have a chance. That's the big difference, though, is being able to keep it close. That defense they play is really great, but they're a little undersized against Kansas, and I think that's going to matter. But boy, get them to the end, and what did they make? 13 out of 13 free throws last time as a team. It's ridiculous that Villanova can hit the free throws. But I do like Kansas. And I like Kansas because of the Arizona connection. I like that they have Remy
That's right.
Martin, and they got Mitch Lightfoot out of Anthem Prep that's been there for like 6 years now. And it's nice to see that Arizona connection there.
Atta boy.
With Kansas.
That's what we're
Did I
talking
give you
about.
a disclaimer in there that I'm not a basketball
I think you
expert?
mentioned
Yeah,
it.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Pretty sure.
yes.
Here,
That'd be
I'm
the
put on
third
spot.
time, so you're
Thank you,
covered.
Matt, for
You're
having some
covered.
information
Yes,
about the team.
you're
I
covered.
appreciate that. Thank you.
That look at that, Damon. That's exactly what I do. I sit there and I'm like, "So
Gotta
what do you
roll.
think?" And then I just listen.
Gotta roll
Oh,
with it.
really?
Yeah.
But I want to say
Uh-huh.
you do a better
Save your
job
game.
of it than John does.
Oh.
Clearly, and this is your first time in. He's been doing this a very long time, and I feel like you're nailing it.
I roll with it, right?
Yeah.
You gotta roll with it.
I feel like I got
Play
the
off each other.
ignorance part down really well.
That's an interesting
Well, I
statement.
wasn't sure. That's why I had to have a disclaimer.
All right. All right. So Uncle Al's has Villanova, and we said Damon's got Kansas. So let's go back to the last two rounds. I don't know if there were really any surprises. I know that there were games that we thought were going to go the other way, or you guys obviously did because of this. This is your. Oof. Is this year's?
Yeah, unfortunately.
There were games that you thought were going to go the other way that didn't. Were any of them really surprising, or were you like, yeah, that seems about right? You know, we got, well, Gonzaga and Arkansas right off the bat.
Yeah, and that one, it was not surprising. Musselman's a good coach. I wish ASU would have gotten it when they had the chance, and they didn't. They blew it. But he knows what he's doing. He's a good coach, and he hasn't gotten his recruiting to where it needs to be yet. He's only been there for a year, but or no, 2 years now. So I can't really say it surprises me. He's a great coach, and Gonzaga's a West Coast team that seems to blow it at some point every year.
Yeah, the same thing goes with Arizona, right? They seem to find a way to lose it, and they're playing a Houston team who, I think if you looked at all those Sweet 16 games, that was the one where you were like, Houston's got a legitimate shot to beat Arizona. They match up really well after playing TCU in a similar style, and I think we even talked in our last show that was maybe an upset in the making was Houston over Arizona. So obviously, when one seeds go down, that's a big deal. But you know, St. Pete's winning an extra game, getting to the 8. I
when
mean,
St. Pete's
that's
beat
great.
Houston, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
surprise right there. And Houston was 1 for 22 from 3 or something like that. It was brutal.
Those kind of teams are fun to watch.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
expects it, and they actually they get back against the wall, and they outperform and show everybody, prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, it was
So that was
emotional.
fun
I
to
loved
watch.
it.
How about Iowa State over Miami, or Miami over Iowa State?
I slept through it.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
can't watch that game.
I
It was
don't.
rough.
I don't think that's a surprise. I mean, a lot of people had Miami early, winning a few rounds and getting further into it. They'd beat some really good teams over the years, and I think they actually even beat Duke during the regular season.
did, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that was a huge surprise. I think Iowa State was the bigger surprise. But yeah, I didn't. It was
bigger
a weaker,
surprise that they got there.
Yes, that
Okay.
they got there.
Well,
they got
from
there.
where they came the year before.
Yeah, 2-22.
Yeah, that's crazy. It was a nice turnaround.
So they're spent by the time they got to
That's
it.
gotta be
As soon as they finished off Wisconsin, they were done. They're like, "Phew, all right, we've
Yeah.
proven our point.
You go through a whole tournament of all the excitement and the St. Pete's and this and that, and then
Conference
in the
tournaments and
end, right?
everything.
In the conference, and in the end, you're down to obviously every year you're down to the 4 hottest teams, but you're down to the 4 true powers with great coaches, and so all that excitement of the tournament's wonderful and all. But I'm happy that come Final Four time, we're going to watch 2 big teams against 2 big teams, and we're going to see good basketball and great coaching, and I think it's going to be one of the best Final Fours we've seen in a long time.
You agree, Dave?
I would happen to agree. I do agree with that. I think that I'm glad Miami didn't get it. I mean, Miami plays that ugly kind of defensive basketball where they shoot a low percentage from the field and they out defend you. That's why the Iowa State game was so rough. They both play that kind of ball. But I'm glad they're out of the way, and I agree with Matt. You know, seeing all the true teams that you think about years, you know, of being in the Final Four, national championships, and everything. I think we've got the right 4 in, and it's going to be super entertaining.
Well, here's the thing. We have Duke and North Carolina, which we see all the time. Do you think people are done watching them or just want to see a good basketball game?
Oh no! Everyone wants to see the good basketball game.
And it's Coach K.
Coach K can get
Any minute can be his
revenge
last
over the
game,
last
yeah.
game that they had.
Yeah, because North Carolina beat them at Duke. Duke's last home game, or Coach K's last home game as the coach, and then they beat them there. Now we're looking for revenge, or North Carolina is looking for revenge over all the years of struggling playing against Duke.
Yeah.
And so
2 hottest teams in the country, if you ask me right now, Duke, North Carolina. I mean, I know that's a great rivalry and everybody wants to see it, but if you look at the 4 teams, they are the 2 hottest teams of the 4, in my opinion. But we'll see. I mean,
Gosh, between them, you've got North Carolina, who their confidence is through the roof right now. I mean, they couldn't be more
Want
confident.
to be,
They think they can beat everyone in the whole world. Duke is finally, it seems like they've gotten that whole Coach K's last season thing off of their back. They're realizing, oh, we've got 4 guys that are going to be drafted in the first round of the NBA, and they realize how good they are, and they're just playing to win, as opposed to playing to make Coach look
Not-
good.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you guys, whoever wins the Duke North Carolina game, that's the national champ.
I don't know about that. I think it's going to come down to matchups when all is said and done. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, to me, if you get Kansas in there against either the Duke or North Carolina, I think that is your most exciting national championship game. But Villanova plays a different kind of basketball that the other teams really don't play. And that could make it ugly. And that'd be my concern. So I mean, if
Slow
I'm
it down. Possession by
defensive.
possession.
I mean, if I'm rooting for teams to make to the final game, I want to see Kansas Duke. That's me, and not because I like Duke, because I don't, but it's a Coach K thing. But if it's Kansas Duke, that could be a nice little game. And Kansas North Carolina, talk about 2 up and down the floor teams that are going to get at it and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's going to be exciting Final Four.
What do you think, Damon?
I agree.
There you go. There you go.
Told you it was
That's what I
better than
do,
you.
yeah.
I told you it was better
That's
than
exactly what I do. I agree.
I'm a quick learner.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's all
think
good.
I think it'll be the winner of Duke and North Carolina, because I think Kansas has had a pretty. It's hard to say easy path in the March Madness, but I think they've had a pretty easy path, and they've got they're playing the one team that's got a little injury problem right now
Yeah.
to get there. So I think it'll end up being the winner, Duke North Carolina.
Do you think there's any value to Duke North Carolina just beating each other up to the point where they're kind of playing to that game? That's kind of the crescendo game, and then all of a sudden they have to face somebody, and there's a little bit of a
Letdown.
letdown going. I mean, it's a national championship. How do you let down? But
But
they had to be looking at the bracket
we were
from the
so
beginning.
pumped for North Carolina. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
so pumped for Duke, and now we've got Kansas or
When the time the
Creighton.
brackets came out, they had to be going. We're going to get our revenge on this, or we're going to get them and beat them again. And I don't. You never know. We'll see.
All right, then all I got left is who are the 2 people in the championship game and who wins?
I'm going with Duke and Kansas. Duke wins it. Coach K goes out with that storybook ending.
I'm going Kansas, North Carolina, and not because I don't think it will be Kansas Duke, but and I will be rooting for Coach K. But I just think that confidence is going to make a difference. And I know Duke's playing great, but I just see this one going Kansas, North Carolina.
For what it's worth.
Kansas, and I don't care.
You're right. No. Again, it's all about watching a good game, and I think, like you said, I think the Tar Heels and the Jayhawks are going to have it out. I'd like to see that game, and go Jayhawks.
There we go. There we go.
All right, there's rooting for, and that's picking. Do you think?
So, John, where are you at
Yeah.
for national championship game? Don't back out of this one. Let's give me something here.
No.
You've heard the experts talk.
Yeah.
You know what? I spent a lot of years rooting against Duke every single chance that I could. Now that he's done, just like rooting for the underdog, and though he's not the underdog, but rooting for the story versus the team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm rooting for, is the story. So I think that
Sounds
Duke.
like a newspaper man.
Right.
I think that Duke beats North Carolina, and I think that they beat Kansas to win it, and I hope it's entertaining,
Me too.
the whole thing.
Me too. If you're not a fan of one of those other 3 teams, you want Duke to win, right? For Coach K, I got to imagine.
I would say so, probably, right?
It's a great story.
All right, so Culligan has Duke, Uncle Al's has Villanova, Tri-State Tool has North Carolina, and Damon Martin here, Tri-State Turf. You do turf, right? Fake turf?
Landscape construction, but we wholesale artificial turf. Yes, that's our main step.
Are you still doing that? The city has like a rebate program or something?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. There is, the city is offering a water rebate for those that are interested. And how it works is it's 75% of your job up to, it's $7,500, but it ends up being $5,000 for natural sod to artificial, okay? The other aspect of that is natural sod to a xeriscape, what we call a dry landscape. So you're reducing the water usage in your property, and you can get up to $7,500 if your job totals, 75% of that totals over $7,500.
So if it's 10,000 and they give you 75%, roughly up
You're going
or
to
up
get
to
that.
that?
We handle the majority of the paperwork, okay, and my office will handle that, and it's pretty seamless. If you have a natural lawn, it's kind of a no-brainer if you live in the city of Bullhead. It's restricted to the city of Bullhead, yeah, we come out, we measure, we take the pictures, we pre-qualify. As Matt knows, we can pre-qualify these customers, and then then we just basically handle it. When we're done, we do job site completion photos, and then they get the money back from the city. So that's a
great.
huge thing for the city of Bullhead,
Yeah.
and it's been a wonderful program for us.
Yeah, those city workers, though, they're so sketchy.
Bunch of weird-
Oh, hey, Dave. I didn't see you sitting there. All right, well, that's great. They can
Yeah.
just get a hold of you at Tri-State Turf.
Yep, they can call my office, Tri-State Turf at 928-201-9514, and talk to Megan in my office.
Right on.
Thank you.
Sure. Anything you want to pimp there?
No,
Yeah.
no, interesting choice of words, but no, I'm good. Just thank you for letting us come here again and
Oh.
obviously be not only the face of the show,
Obviously.
the beauty and the intelligence and the whole 9 yards. You said you might not be here, and I thought, well, that's good for the viewers. But
Yeah.
it all worked out. It all worked out.
We don't want
Thanks for having me.
we need to temper their enthusiasm a little bit and just kind of hint towards it, but don't then yank it away.
Give them one of
at the
just
last
up
second.
close in the camera things you were doing earlier before. Yeah, see, I think people will enjoy that. People will enjoy that. Look at that. Look at that. You look good for 70.
I did find out an hour before the show what we were talking about, so that's good.
Oh, good. All right. Well, glad we can help.
Yeah, I did some research.
All right, then I guess that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure as always.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully this helps you. Go and put all your money on, what do we say? Either Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, or Villanova.
It's a good choice.
Any one of them.
Put it on one of those
Take
four.
it.
That would be helpful.
You should definitely pick
Odds
one
are
of
gonna
them.
win.
Yes. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. I also want to thank Anderson Ford for sponsoring this. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.